And in fact, if you have any questions, I'd ask you to keep them to the end, and we'll answer those, and you'll be able to type them in the chat box. And both myself and my colleague Piyush is here, and we will be happy to answer those questions for you. So I always like to start off with a little bit of introduction. My name is Dave Parkhurst. I'm a consultant with Hurix, and I start my presentations by asking or answering a very basic question that participants usually want to know. And that is, who is this guy, and why should I care what he has to say? So just a brief bit about my background. I've been in high-tech sales now professionally for over 20 years. And I'm always looking for ways to improve my results, my sales results. In particular, that valuable time when you're with a client or prospect. And this is really what sales enablement is all about, and what we'll spend a little bit of time here together today talking about and discussing. So the first question that I have for you, or that most people have, is what is hindering your sales efforts? There's a survey by Serious Decisions that showed that 26% of sales reps felt that they couldn't reach their targets due to an inability to communicate the value messages that their products or their company had. So it's a very significant chunk of the sales time in Salesforce. And we've outlined a few different difficulties that we find that Salesforce has, and that I've encountered myself in my career. Sometimes you have too many products to really effectively know them all, and to have all of the information available to you to answer the questions and objections that clients might have. There can be too much information. We're specifically talking about in this webinar series about high-tech and medical device, medical information, and there's a lot in that high-tech, high-touch arena. And then having immediate response to client objections can be difficult when you have so much to know and so much to have available to you. So these are just a few of the difficulties. I'm sure we could list lots more that sales reps have in the field. Now, we live, however, in a high-tech age in which we should be able to overcome these things with information technology that we have, and so we'll talk about that. Pre-prospect sales engagement is really the ongoing communication between the prospect and the salesperson as a driving factor in whether a deal gets done or not. The sales team that has the communications tools that they need to move prospects through the sales process much more effectively and more successfully with a higher close rate. And then, of course, post-sale communications with clients is also a challenge, but an opportunity for great improvement and great success with clients. And that really comes down to having complete information, regularly communicated, that creates both a happier client and an opportunity for follow-on sales. This all requires good pre-prospect, pre-sales prospect engagement and great post-sale engagement as well. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we go on as well. One of the things that really becomes important, especially in the high-tech field of medical and technology of any sort, is you need to be able to instill, as you're onboarding your team, team culture, vision, mission into every member of your sales team. You need to be able to get them up to speed on your products, your sales strategy, your methodology. The sales messaging that you have has to be able to be inculcated into them very effectively. Of course, there's ongoing training. The world never stops evolving in either your products or your processes. And as we noted above, ensuring your sales team sees and understands all the latest features and enhancements of your product line as soon as they're ready is essential to their success. And that requires great internal communication. Effective communications is really the lifeblood of any team. They're essential to helping your team share insights, learning from one another, improving sales techniques, and closing more business. I just heard about a study yesterday that talked about how business is becoming more and more collaborative. So having your salespeople be able to communicate what works in the field, how that's being applied in certain sales situations can be tremendously beneficial. You know, 89% of sales and marketing managers believe that the company's sales enablement strategy is right on track, but really only about 30% of them have any kind of sales enablement solution that has been implemented. So that's where we want to go next. Now, why are we credible to talk about this subject? Who is Hurix and what are we all about? Well, as a technology and e-learning and cloud developer, we've been working with some of the world's leading companies for over 15 years. We've got literally 1 million+ hours of rich content development, over 20,000 learning objects that have been developed, pioneers in ebook and ebook automation. And we're working across the planet. You can see some of the people that we've been working with across the world for many, many years. And when we created this product that we're going to talk about called Kitabu, which we'll discuss shortly, we have been able to engage multi-million dollars of corporate sales for using this same strategy that we're going to talk to you about and the same types of products that we're talking about. So what is Kitabu? It's a complete digital sales and marketing platform. At a high level, Kitabu allows you to get the maximum sales benefit from all of your sales and marketing materials and all of your sales calls wherever your reps are and at all times. What does that mean? Well, you know that it takes a lot to get a meeting with a potential prospect. So that time that you have with them is critically important to be able to communicate compelling and engaging messages. That's really where Kitabu comes in. Kitabu allows for you to take whatever content you've got and make it rich and interactive, available on all of your devices. I mentioned just the last slide about collaboration with other sales reps and with your marketing team to be able to have the information that works in each situation at their fingertips while they're with the client. It allows you to analyze the usage of your marketing and sales materials and see what's working, see what's happening in the field with these materials, and of course, digital rights management. One of the things that happens with Kitabu is they have the ability to communicate your messages in the most complete and rich experience with your sales prospects that you could ever possibly have with marketing and sales. So let's talk about the components of Kitabu for just a few minutes. You've got existing content, you've got existing materials that you use in sales. You can use that existing content by converting it and enriching it and then deploying it through Kitabu. That can be, print materials, maybe PDFs, audio, videos, hyperlinks to other websites of your organization, or potential surveys or other things you might use in talking to customers. Of course, images, widgets that do specific tasks. You can create new content using Kitabu Create. Digitize anything you need to digitize to be able to deliver on the fly to your customers in the field. So that might be quizzes. That might be sitting down with a client and discussing answers to several different key questions that are plaguing their business. It could be audio or video modules. Video sells or compels people to pay attention a lot more than just about anything else. So having that at your fingertips is tremendously powerful. So whether it's your existing content or whether it's creating new content, Kitabu can help with that. Now, once you've got your content prepared and available, distributing that with Kitabu becomes incredibly easy to do. You can integrate it with your existing systems, such as learning management system or other types of systems. You can collaborate so that you're with other, other sales reps, other marketing people, so that your content can have notes attached to it that might be specific to the client that you're calling on at that particular time. You can, again, manage how well that content and how well your materials are being used using analytics that are built into Kitabu. So you can tell, is this brochure effective? Is this presentation effective? Are these videos that we're using to enhance our sales brochures, are they effective? Knowing that from a marketing perspective is invaluable. It's incredibly important. And then, of course, Kitabu is platform agnostic. It doesn't care whether you are using an iOS device, whether you're using an Android device, whether you're using a Windows device, whether you're doing it with your laptop or with a web page just on a computer. Whatever it is you use to make your sales calls and your team uses to make their sales calls, Kitabu is the platform that will allow them to present that material in the most compelling way possible. You'll notice on the slide we talked about white labeling apps. We can also, as a company, we have the ability to white label Kitabu as with your company logo. And so it looks like your own privately developed app. So again, creating additional credibility in the sales perspective and the sales call that your people are making. So how does Kitabu work for corporate sales enablement, excuse me, and why does it matter? It's driven by modern corporate sales' three major demands. You have to be differentiated by complete info. Going back to one of our earlier slides, we talked about how difficult it is, especially in complex sales environments like high tech, to have complete information at their fingertips and compelling information at their fingertips at all times in the sales call. A lot of times people will take a very long time to train their sales reps before they get on the field. This kind of experience where you have everything at your fingertips at all times brings that training right into focus and helps you become more effective on an individual sales call. The other thing that's very important is making sure that whatever materials are used, the messaging is consistent and the user experience of using those sales materials is as good as it possibly can be. Because Kitabu provides a complete media-rich environment which you can use with your clients and with your prospects, that is guaranteed. That is just something you're going to be able to do much more effectively than pulling out a brochure or even pulling out a PowerPoint presentation to give at your client's site. And of course, having all the materials available at all times is critical to both answering objections right on the fly, which, you know, if you leave the sales call, that sales call time that you have there is incredibly important. If you leave that call without answering those objections, it's much harder, frankly, to get back in later on to make that presentation once again. So having the ability to answer those questions on the fly, right here and right now, is very, very useful in the sales process. So you can use your existing content, you can use new content, you can create new content. If you have some kind of system that you use, Kitabu integrates with that because it's a cloud-based system. This is very important. It's a cloud-based system, so you can use it anytime you have access to the internet. But guess what? You also have the ability to get offline access to Kitabu. So we're not limited by just that. So just to summarize, because I want to pay close attention to the time and give you good value for the time you spend with me today, this is what Kitabu is all about. It gives you the ability to use any digital device you want, to use all of your existing content, to empower your sales reps in the field to have much more effective sales calls and presentations with your clients, to have the ability to have notes available on any piece of material to make the messaging more effective, and also then to follow up and know, for your marketing team in particular, what pieces of information are getting the most impact, having the most impact. What are your sales reps using? What are they not using? Maybe if they're not using something, you want to go back and look at how you can make that a more effective tool for them. And then ultimately closing the deal with your clients because you're the most prepared sales force on the planet. That's the summary of Kitabu. Now, what about, how would you do this? Well, first of all, I'm not here to ask you for any money today. That comes a little bit later on. What we will provide you if you're interested in taking a look at Kitabu, how it can be deployed and used in your scenario, is a free trial. So try it out. See how it works for your team. Once you've tested it, once you've tried it, once you've exposed your sales team to it, I'm pretty confident that they're going to want to continue to use it. Now you say, okay, yeah, but I can learn something new. We'll help you. Set up assistance and training. We will give you at no additional charge. Now, these are limited time offers, so we're not going to do this necessarily for everybody forever. But for anybody that is talking to us now, this is an offer that we're making. $25 a month per user. We'll lock that pricing in for you, and we'll make sure that you have free cloud-based upgrades automatically. Another benefit to using a cloud-based product like Kitabu. Now, I've been talking for about 20 minutes here, but I'd like to give anybody on the line with us a chance to ask any questions. Or also, Piyush, if you have anything that you would like to add to the discussion that I missed, please feel free to jump in at this point. And if I don't hear any additional questions, I would like to thank you all for attending today. I would be more than happy to have an offline conversation with anybody who's attended to talk about how we can implement that Kitabu free trial in your organization. And so I will be doing a follow-up call with anybody that's on today and have an opportunity to discuss this further. And of course, my email address is dave.parkhurst@jurix.com. I should have put that on the slide, but I didn't. But you probably got my email. That's why you're here today. And I'm more than happy to have a discussion with any of you at any time. So, are there any other questions? Okay, that sounds good. Piyush, thank you for joining me, and everybody else, thank you for joining today, and I will look forward to talking to you in the near future. Thanks so much. And this ends our presentation.